This is my school and this is my learning zone. I'm Pranjal, a full-time high school student. In my free time, I find the opportunities to have conversations with professionals from various walks of life. Over time, I have learned that you have to be humble, work hard, and be a lifelong learner to be successful in life. I invite you to join me in one such journey. I hope you enjoy it. My guest today is a strategic business leader with close to 30 years of rich and insightful experience, having evolved from hands-on sales roles to business leadership ones that impact the entire organization. He has successfully demonstrated expertise in strategic, analytical and operational execution, and management of initiatives. He is currently an entrepreneur and has launched his own organization. Please welcome Mr. Sanal. So, Mr. Sanal, how would you describe your overall early schooling experience?
I would say, for many of us, majority of the people, that's a golden period of your life.
Oh.
Schooling was one of the best time in any person. I would say, as per my experience, it was one of the best time. So, see, the only tension those days used to have after reaching home, you need to study for some time, and then you need to appear the exam. The rest, there is no burden at all. And those days, I would say, when I was studying in the school, there was no homework used to be, and probably you get a homework once in a while on a weekend for a small, or if you make some mistakes in the class, then you get a composition. So those were all. Otherwise, after the school time, you are completely free. You go to the grounds, go to other places, play. So physical plays used to be a lot on those days. The gadgets were not there. Now we can see that most of the school students after the school time, they spend a lot of time to do homework and then on the gadgets. Compared to these days, those days were really good. And physically also people used to be very healthy because everyone used to play physically after the school time. So when I was studying, the school timing was 10 to 4. 10 to 1 was the morning, an hour break, and then start 4 o'clock, it's finished. So you have a morning as well as evening, a lot of time to play.
Mr. Sanal, every young kid has a dream or aspiration of what they want to do in college and university. What was your aspirations? What were you aiming for?
Yes, I was, as I said, my interesting subject was chemistry. So in those days, the education system in Kerala, it used to be secondary school living certificate. That examination is conducted by the government of Kerala, the Kerala board. After that, then the college used to start. Nowadays, the college starts after the 12th, so 10 plus 2. So after 10 standard or school living certificates, then we used to go to the college. The plus 11 class start from the colleges.
Oh, okay.
And so those 2 years was really, the school means you have a lot of restrictions. You are like the teachers, sometimes a chair, you are very afraid of teachers. And so after when you go to colleges, that it's a completely different world. That in school you never bunk the classes, and because you're not allowed, if something happened like that, like those days, the teacher used to send a postcard. So I remember that was 10 paise or 15 paise was one postcard. So the teacher used to write, your son's future is dangerous. He has not attended this class. That's the reason. So it was like in the school. Then when you get into that level, when you get to the college, you get a lot of freedom. So there, probably I would say that many of the students misuse that freedom, bunk the classes, go to travel somewhere. Go to movies, you attend 3 classes and then you go to a movie. These kind of things used to depends on your friend circle and all this. It does happen. So the first year was, I enjoyed that freedom too much. So I that affected my studies and obviously the results. So then the last is because you get the first year results, 11th class results, mid of your session. So by the time you got the session, then you left with only 6 months to compensate that. So then that 6 months I completely focus on study. So though I could do a lot better, but my results was not that expected. And in the plus two, you get an admission to the next graduation based on your, that's same like today. I could not get admission to the chemistry subject for chemistry honors. I got physics honors as
Oh,
my main subject. Yeah. So, like you study chemistry, chemistry, physics, and mathematics are the three main subjects you study. So in that, I could get the entry to physics honors.
right.
So then, as I got it, I started loving physics. So mechanics was one of the most interesting subjects in physics for me. Electricity, magnetism was also one of the the interesting one. Mechanics, so you need to what's the diameter, calculate the diameter of the Earth, and then the different planets. All those things was very interesting. So mechanics was one of the favorite subject for me. So then I get into though you like to study chemistry, but you get in you end up in studying physics.
Right.
So that was the main subject. So I did my physics honors.
Right. Um, I can agree definitely that physics is an interesting subject. I'm taking it currently, and I really, really enjoy doing the math portion of it and also understanding how things really work. So, did you feel disappointment when you didn't make it into your chemistry honors, and how did you deal with that?
Not really. The physics was also, though in my school days I pick up a lot of interest for chemistry. Uh, I got the physics, some of the subjects which I feel it was little difficult. I used to go to a teacher, privately study those subjects. So he actually influenced me to make and develop more interest in physics. So I never get disappointed. That in first 3 months I was thinking about whether I should change the stream. It was possible. Like if there is a vacancy in the chemistry class, or if somebody moved out of the college or something, there was a possibility to move into that. So first 3 months I was thinking about, but after 3 months I decided to continue with physics. So yeah, I started liking physics.
Right.
After you finished college, how did you know where to find a job?
So go for higher studies or go for a job. That was it was that was not clear. Like it's not like as I said that I wanted to become a teacher. So then after that I because I changed my aspect, or change to something else. I would like to become something else because the situation getting a government teacher, those days there was very limited private school or private colleges, so only the government schools or colleges were there. Getting a job in a government school or government college was practically very difficult because the number of people, so that selection process is through public service commission,
Yeah.
and that takes sometimes because the rank list, the people got very high ranks also sometimes wait for years together, and maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and so you will be ending at waiting for that and then wasting a lot of time. So I decided to change that. So because doing job was an important thing for me, that I feel that's a necessity. I don't want to put too much of burden on my parents, and study. Go for higher education at the same time. Start working. So at the final year of my graduation, my thought process changed to that level. So after the graduation, you go and start working. Parallelly, you continue your study.
Right. Right. So, what job did you get?
So after completing my graduation, I came to Delhi.
Okay.
I was studying like in Kerala after the graduation. Then I came to Delhi. I registered for company secretary course, ICS.
I see that.
Yeah. Then I was doing that parallelly, like within that's not like I did not join that regular classes. I joined the evening classes, and I came to Delhi at somewhere in December 1998, and January 99 I got offer letters from three places.
Right.
So one was Hindustan Computers Limited, HCL. So today the IT major, IT giant.
Yeah.
And the other company was Hitachi, the Japanese company.
Yeah.
And the third company was the field where I'm today. It's a company called Grower and Wheel, the manufacturing of specialty chemicals.
Right.
So somehow I land up in the specialty chemical manufacturing company.
Right.
Because my last in HCL, my last session of the third level of interview was going on. So I got a call, and from the other company, they said that, see, if you come by today 4 o'clock, your job is open. Otherwise, like that will not be there. So I think for a while and then think whether should, because HCL that time it was not so big company. It was started up in Noida. Noida was the head office at that time. There were but not many employees, so it's not so big like that today. What it is. So then I thought, okay, I have something in my hand. I decided to go and join the job I had with. So because you don't know like what is the result of if you wait, and then what will be the result of this final interview. I didn't took a chance. I went and joined the job already offered, and they give an ultimatum to join by the same day evening.
Right.
So that's the way I continue with my study ICS. So as I was like the job which I started with was like it's a kind of it's a servicing industry, sales, service, technical support. So there I find that like continuing with the company secretary course is not. So I should be doing something to do with marketing. So I discontinue my CS course, and then I joined MBA course with Indira Gandhi Open University.
Right. Right. So a question I had is simultaneously studying and maintaining a job. Was that challenging? Was it easy? How did you manage your time?
Like when I start the job, my boss was very liberal. So because I used to live in Noida, it's near Delhi, and I was working, my area of working was in Faridabad, which is around 40 kilometers, 45 kilometers. I used to do up down. By those days, they used to have a bus, like a chartered buses. Chartered buses is a bus service operated by private. So there you get in there, and then you can go to your destination. So there's a fixed members. There's a group of people organize this. I used to go to from Noida. Noida, I used to live with my uncle, and to Faridabad. So my boss was so liberal. If he see me after 3 o'clock, though the timing of the work was 10 o'clock to 5:30. So after 3 or 4 o'clock, he will ask me, "Hey, Sanal, you are still here. You have to go a far away place. Go to Noida. Why you are here?" So that way, like I was very relaxed on those days, and I used to enjoy the work also very much. So learning something new like that. See, finally, I landed up in doing chemistry. Like, though I studied physics, I was the specialty chemical which is used for surface finishing, like electroplating, anodizing, and printed circuit board manufacturing. These all are like a surface finishing activity. So that's actually a real. It's based on electrochemistry. So though I study physics, I land up in the subject which I like.
Right.
Yes. So then it's as there was no pressure from the job which I was doing. So I did enjoy, like I used to come in the evening, and my evening classes used to be in Central Delhi, close to India Gate, the center of Delhi. I used to attend the classes there from 5:30 to 7:30. Then I go back to Noida. The classes used to be many times 3 days in a week, and sometimes, and then the other two classes used to be in the weekend, like Saturday, Sunday. The company where I started, that was also a 5-day week company at that time, except one Saturday used to be working. The rest of the Saturdays and Sundays were holiday. So I did not find it very difficult to take both together on those days. But when as the years progress, like I have cleared exams, like at the end of it after 2 years of time, but I start getting more and more responsibilities. I could not spend a lot of time. So somehow the the company also appreciated my efforts, and what I delivered, uh, uh, like first year as well as second year, even though. So when I came here, I never used to speak, fluent Hindi. So when you do marketing in Delhi, like you need to deal with many people. You need to deal with the owner of a company. You need to deal with the manager of that organization. You also need to deal with the workers, operators, and supervisors. So when it comes to that level, then you need to know, you need to speak in Hindi.
Yeah.
That was a challenge for me, even without knowing that. Like the biggest mistake I used to make was a singular plural. So, like in Hindi, you have to say, then you're like it's a "मैं आता हूँ." Whereas like I used to say that "आती हूँ."
Oh yeah.
So it took me a long time to understand that that difference. So like people used to still like very old people when they say me, so "मैं आती हूँ." That's like with that, even not knowing the language quite fluently, I could do very good in the early years. The company appreciated. So my interest uh, developed too much, and in the job. So I actually the last semester of MBA, I have to like quit there and then continue focusing on my work,
Mm.
because they start giving me more and more responsibilities. Like from a territory of Faridabad, they have widened my area of working. They have given me a location in a part of Delhi, and in 2 years of time, like in that young age, they provided, they gave me three colleagues to sub work under me.
Mm.
And I was taking care of areas like in Delhi, Noida, and Faridabad, three areas. So which normally handled by a person with 5 to 6 years of experience.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's then actually when the company was doing a lot for me, somehow I think like I should put more efforts. Like that was I started enjoying that, and then I put more efforts. So that's the way there I stopped. Like that time MBA, then several times it happened in the past also, but even today that last part is missing.
Right. So at this point, did you have a vision of what you wanted to do in your future, or were you just going with the flow, trying to learn new things and just maintaining your daily life?
Somehow I started liking the job which I doing. It's just very special kind of job. So in this, it's not pure marketing. There's marketing involved in it. It's also servicing, and it's also need to know technical. It's a technical selling. We actually like the business what we do is you provide service to a customer, you provide solutions to their problems and their needs, then you invoice your chemistry for that.
Mm.
It's not selling chemicals, it's selling your services, selling solutions for their needs. So
Right.
I started enjoying that very much. And because, so like the success which I gained during the early days helped me a lot in developing more and more interest. So then there I decided that yes, I will continue with this profession. So to go and continue with the specialty chemical uh, profession.
Right. So you stay in this job for a couple more years and then you move to a bigger corporation. Where did you move?
It's actually then I worked there for 4 years, 3.5, 4 years,
Yeah.
and then my the group of people in that organization decided to, you know, move out and make a new company.
Oh, okay.
They started from the top management to the bottom level. So as looking at the performance, my boss and my boss, immediate boss and his boss, both of them were decided to go to the new startup company. This is in 1992 or 91. Yeah. So there, then I decided to be, because a lot of people, a lot of my colleagues were decided to move out. So I was also part of them to be a part of that new startup. Also, I used to like taking challenges. Setting up a new company is a lot of challenge. So somehow, though, I tried to take that challenge and move on with the new startup.
Okay. What was the
Yeah.
startup called?
That's again is the same business. Metal finish, specialty chemical for surface finishing.
Right.
The first company was like the name Grow and Wheel, and the startup company was Arctic Surfing.
Yeah.
So Arctic Surfing at that time, it's the name is so art and technology of surface finishing. That's what art mean. Art and tech. So art
Right.
and technology for surface finishing. So I was there again, spent a good 4 years enjoying, uh, my job, which make a change after 3 years of my working there.
Mm. So during
Then,
the, sorry?
please, yeah,
Yeah.
please.
So during this time, did you face challenges in your work? And if so, how did you overcome them?
I never faced any challenge in my profession, because you need to give service to the customers, and then you need to get the you know the business, the
Yeah.
sales. So I was good at that. There was no problem in that. But the my growth was not looked at very good by some of the superiors. One of the reason is actually one of my immediate boss at that day, he started his own business
Right.
doing the same which my customer do. And because of this, I lost few customers, 2, 3 customers.
Yeah.
So then I told my customers, like, I am giving you services, and how can you stop? Like, he started a business, but okay, I also represent the company, and then you have to respect my services which I am giving to you, and whatever your challenges, I will give you solutions.
Yeah.
And then I supported them, which actually, helped me to gain back that business. So once I gained back the business, that make this was not taken in good spirit by my boss.
Mm.
Then actually he transferred me to other place, given me different, like I feel like then the 4th year I did feel that I'm not appreciated for my efforts and deliverance.
Right.
Those days I used to stay with my cousin, and that was the time the IT started booming up.
Yeah.
So all my friends, I'm talking about 95.
25.
1995, yes. So 1995, a lot of IT industries, like a lot of people from different, people don't have even IT background, IT study, they all getting into, because the demand was very high in the IT industry, but the supply was not that much.
Yep.
So on many of, like my cousin, we were bachelors staying there, me and my cousin, and he was in the IT industry, and then every Saturday, Sunday, we used to have, evening get together. So there, all these IT guys, they come back and say that, oh, this week I got 500 rupees increment. So like others say that I got 300, because they used to get salaries in US dollars that time.
Mm.
And I also like start getting a not so good experience from my organization. I decided to, you know, change.
Yeah.
I decided to change and move to, because all of these friends every day come every day, all were in a decision. They all asked me to move to IT.
Right.
Then I decided to leave the company and move to IT.
Okay.
So I submitted my resignation. So the day I submitted my resignation, I saw a full page advertisement in Times of India. The Times of India used to have that job advertisement on Tuesday or Saturday some days. So that like it's all job advertisements. So it came with a full page advertisement for the similar industry, an international company starting as a joint venture in India. That's with Max India as Max India is a part of Max Group. So they were part of like Ranbaxy, Max Pharma,
Hmm.
and so and now they are into several. It's just a big business group. So there I saw the advertisement, and then I start thinking like, you are doing something for last 8 years or 7, 8 years, and you are very comfortable in that because of your the atmosphere in the office, which you start disliking. So you are going to IT industry, which is a challenge again, which you never did, and you need to do a crash course of 6 months or something, and then you have to go and try your luck.
Yeah.
You may be successful, you may not be successful.
Right.
So then when I saw this advertisement, I thought, let me give a try. So I applied for that. So they called me for the interview, and a British colleague took my interview, and then their general manager and their HR. So it was quite like Max India used to maintain their office quite good. Though those days, I'm talking about 90, end of 95, they used to have channel music in their office. When you get in there, beautiful reception, nice this thing, and cafeteria, all those things. So which was not very common on those many of the companies so that impressed me. I decided to, okay, so IT industry still, this give a try for this. So they called me first interview, and then they selected second interview, and then after that I apply for, because anyway I decided to leave. I apply for 30 days leave, and then I went to Kerala
Right.
for vacation. So when I came back, there was a letter like asking me to appear again and negotiate my salary, and you are selected. So then that was like, then I thought, okay, this is something which I am doing for years, and it's a startup company, and it's a multinational company, and it's more professional. It looks to me more professional those days. So I decided to join. That's the company where I worked for more than 25 years,
Yeah.
from 96 to 2021.
You're 21.
And that company, when I joined, I was the sixth or seventh person. We were only 7 people in that company doing that business. Though that division, I would say, not that company. The company is having like a multiple branches of business, but the surface finishing division, that particular business, the joint venture started, we were only 6, 7 people, and that is to start with. Today, that company is around 700 people.
Wow. To Ecotech Group India as the new general manager position. When you started out at this job, working with only 6 or 7 people, how did you grow the team? Was it different working here than your previous company?
Yes, it was a completely different approach, and it's a completely different working style with this company. And that's the first time, like we started with, in the previous organization, we used to sell different solutions, different like metal finishing solutions. Whereas the new joint venture company, we started with only one product line.
Mm.
And that was a patented product line at that time. So in my previous, both the companies, we were not selling any of the patented product.
Right.
So to give a brief about like the advantage of that, like most you know about when I say chromium plating. Chromium plating is, you see all the taps, the faucets you saw in your in the bathroom is plated with nickel and chromium. That's the final finish is chromium. Similar way, all the automotive logos, so where the letters are there, the radiator grills, the bumpers, all those things with a bright blue finish is chromium plated.
Yep.
We start giving that process in India with a unique advantage of like that process have a limitation of when we talk about electrochemistry. Every like electroplating is the main business, one of the main business when like we do the technology required for electroplating. Especially when we talk about the chromium plating, that process like depositing chromium on any surface can achieve a maximum of 10 to 12% of efficiency. The 10 to 12% efficiency means you apply X amount of energy or the current. Only 10 to 12% is used for the real deposition, and the rest is being used for gassing and heating, which is a waste.
Yeah.
The technology what we introduce can achieve 25% of the efficiency. So that's almost double than that of achievable by any technology or processes available till that date. So that's we were focusing only on that, and that again we don't have any competition because that's a patent product for next 10 more years. Nobody could sell that in India. So we start selling the process when you do an apple-to-apple comparison with the same type of same set of chemistry with ours. We were selling at that 3 times compared to the conventional process, but still the customers, the user used to save a lot because of the savings from the energy. Because when you double the efficiency, so that's actually a concept selling we started. Like till then, we were more focusing in my previous companies. I was more focusing on the quantity and quality of the service.
Yep.
Whereas here, that's very important to have the quantity and quality of service. Along with that, here you have a niche, like something more attractive to the customer. Like when we talk about improving efficiency, so that's again improving efficiency always have another side of reducing the reducing the environmental footprint, because these all are chemicals being used. So the chemicals have always a negative impact, because when we talk about this is used to use hexavalent chromium. Hexavalent chromium is carcinogenic. So when we can increase the efficiency by double, so basically the exposure time is come down by 50%. That much, though we cannot say that it's environmental friendly, but you are doing something more environmentally responsible way. So that's a unique selling point to the customer, and that helped to do. So the approach of my previous 8 years of working in this here, it's completely changed.
Yeah.
So here you are more specific on the advantage of a very specific, unique niche product, and selling the advantages and establishing that, proving it. So in the previous job, I used to visit many customers, small customers and all. Here we go to a customer, large in size, mainly OEMs or manufacturers, and focus on them, get there it's a long time taking process, get the order, establish the process, prove our claims, and then establish and move on to that. First 1 year, we have not done anything other than that. We were selling only one product line, and then we keep adding. So I was the only one without an engineering background in that. So all my other colleagues were, our boss was from chemical engineer from IIT Delhi, and all others were from electrochemistry engineering graduates. And there is only one, mainly one institute, one of the very few institutes in the world, and only one institute in India. Teachers taught electrochemistry in engineering level. So that's it's a university in Karaikudi. So Karaikudi is near Madurai in Tamil Nadu. So that place give BTech degree in electrochemistry.
Right.
So all other my colleagues were from there, specifically specialized in electrochemistry. And then we start keeping, like after one year, we were focusing on this, and we could establish, we become the market leaders in 1 year in that product segment.
Yeah.
So that was a very big achievement, and uh, the management were very happy about that. They did give me a lot of encouragement in terms of appreciation as well as remuneration.
Mm-hmm.
So that kept moving on, and then after 1 year, we start move into, because that's then we reach a level of like a saturation sort of thing. You can never achieve 100% of the market any point of time. So, but we were already there with around 40-50% of the market, which within a year's time, it's a quite good or very big achievement. Then we actually start exploring into other product segments. Other product segment. Then I moved to a new division. So like that division do decorative finishes. Decorative finishes, when we say anything, hard chromium is called, it's a finish for corrosion resistance as well as wear resistance. This is being used for shock absorbers, engine piston parts, wherever the wear resistance is required. Some are the moving parts, like an engine piston is always moving. In shock absorber, that is always moving. So which actually have a lot of wear. The surface should have a very high hardness and wear resistance. So the chromium deposit is having that property of corrosion resistance as well as wear resistance. Then I move to other division which give appearance enhancement as well as the corrosion resistance. That's a division where we talk about all this. So when we talk about the costume jewelries, so this all like plated with they are not, it looks like gold with they have a few nanometers of less than a micron of gold, but it lasts for long. And then you also have all these plastic parts. It's a normally the electroplating happens on metals, whereas you can also do metal deposition on top of plastics. After converting that plastic surface into a conductive surface, you can deposit any metal only on a conductive surface. Plastic is not a electrically conductive surface. You convert that into a electrically conductive surface with a chemical reaction process, and then you deposit palladium on top of that. So that becomes a conductive surface, then you do electroplating. So I took the responsibility of that. And that again come to me by chance, because another colleague from the industry who is having around more than double of my experience, number of years, and well versed, and he was also handling a complete company, his R&D as well as the product development and establishment. He joined us, and then he within a day or two he decided to discontinue. So that opening was then the managing director of at that time asked me, "Hey Sanal, can you take this challenge?" I said, "Yes, I'm very happy to take that challenge and give me a try." So that the day, like then that's a position which you become a specialist in that process. So that product management system. So I moved to that from the general support, servicing, and marketing to the product management where you are responsible for developing and integrating, establishing that process. So you find out, you are a link with the R&D team to find out what are the improvements required. I took the responsibility of that and start developing. That started after 2 years of in 98, 96 we started this, and the 98, end of 98. So, there also it's a big companies. In 98, we have done our big success simultaneously in the at two places for large two motorcycle manufacturers. We have successfully established our process. The first one was at that point of time, it was TVS Suzuki. So TVS Suzuki, those we introduced our process there when they launched. They were about to launch Victor. That the TVS Suzuki was. They were about to split between TVS and Suzuki and becoming only an Indian company. And the Victor is the very first model launched by TVS without the name of Suzuki. We did that in 98 of Pongal. Holidays in Tamil Nadu, Pongal is a long holiday. So
Yeah.
you can do this, this process conversions, and you need few days of time, like the, 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 the arrangement, the cleaning system, and all those. You need to make a lot of changes. That takes time. So that time we have done this during Pongal 1 week holiday, and we took a challenge of establishing that. That was a very tough time for us because the equipment was supplied by the competitor, and the competitor said, if you discontinue our chemistry, we will start supporting you in equipment, the automatic machine. We have to get a software engineer who doesn't know anything about electroplating or the mechanism. I spent 42 hours continuously without coming out of the shop floor in that company, TVS Suzuki at that time. That's my record and nowhere else. Because so after the Pongal holiday, if you don't restart the plant, then you're out. You lose all the money you supplied and your reputation, and that's going to be the first thing will be, if it becomes failure, then your future will be very dark. So that was a very big challenge. We are there. We could establish because we have to tell all the logics. When you say the software engineer only know the command to the computer, the rest of the things we have to give the logic to him. And this is the logic you need to communicate to the PLC, the computer, and then the PLC. We have done successfully that. And the following the same year, Deepavali, we have done gained the business of Bajaj motorcycle. Bajaj, at that time it was Bajaj, Kawasaki Bajaj. So these were the two big success after taking over that as a in the product management group. Those success actually give me a lot of boost and a good name in the company. And after these two establishing these two businesses, so the company has promoted me twice in a year, 2 times in the year, same year.
Wow.
That was then I started looking after some exports business also. From 99 onwards, Bangladesh become our. We were we can service in the Asian country apart from India, in the Asian countries also. So I started traveling to Bangladesh to do marketing, business and marketing. So there I was continuously traveling to 6 to 7 times minimum in a year. So those days, like the government of Bangladesh used to give only visa for one entry. In a year's time, in 2 years' time, I had 3 books of passports. Because every time you have to use one of the pages. And those days, they never used to give the big number of pages. Like now it's 200 pages. But then that become, there also I could establish good business. So then I never looked back. It was a journey which continued for long years, and I was the product division which I was responsible for was making around 65 to 70% of the total revenue of the company in that general metal finishing division. And then 95 I was offered a position to move to Singapore. Not 95, 2016, like from 96, it's continuous. Actually, the company also grew quite nicely. I remember after 1 year of that, after we established the main hard chrome business, we were not able to grow the business for 6 months. And then it started growing only after gaining these 2 divisions, like the major OEMs. So that growth, we never looked back. So I have done around 15, 20 new projects, brand new, like the greenfield projects. Greenfield project means, I would say that time, 80% of the new projects started is gained by our company, and only 20% is going to the competition. It was a very, very, very nicely done journey, and I'm very proud of those achievements.
So you moved to Singapore after a while working, and you have an enormously successful campaign. During this time with such a busy work life, how did you manage your personal life? How did you make enough time for your family and connect with them?
Yeah, that's Very interesting question. I would say that my partner is the reason for all this success, and the support from my partner. That was there is no words for that. Like whatever I become today because of that contribution, I would say that the total number of days I traveled in one of the year was around 180 days.
Wow.
So this is including the travel outside home, means it can be within India or outside India. You should travel a lot, and because when you go for this establishing new projects, so you need to stay there for long, and then maybe you come back to home for 3 4 days after two during the weekends, and then you go back again. That was a challenging period. When I say this, I have to be very thankful to my wife. She we got married in 1999, and she was in the publishing industry. She was in the newspaper industry, in the print media. She was a sub editor in one of the veteran in Kerala journalist with the newspaper Malayalam Manorama. So she used to travel a lot, and because when you go for this establishing new projects, so you need to stay there for long, and then maybe you come back to home for 3 4 days after two during the weekends, and then you go back again. That was a challenging period. When I say this, I have to be very thankful to my wife. She we got married in 1999, and she was in the publishing industry. She was in the newspaper industry, in the print media. She was a sub editor in one of the veteran in Kerala journalist with the newspaper Malayalam Manorama. So she was the sub editor in Malayalam Manorama, and they after marriage she requested for a transfer from. She was working in Kottayam and then in Palkad. She requested for a transfer to Delhi. They said that wait for a few months, we will give it. So that has they were keep saying we will transfer you, but then finally she decided to leave the job and join me in Delhi.
Wow.
Yeah. So then they actually they failed to they asked her to stay back, wait for some more time, then we will give it. But she decided to leave the job after coming to Delhi, and then we were on the family way. We have she decided to continue staying at home, supporting me and taking care of my son. So I would say that's a very big contribution, a reason for my success, because so bam, I'm back after the traveling. So it's always someone at home, receive me with a smiling face, which is not the case with many others, and that's always a problem, and that's also influence your performance. And if you are free from any of this kind of stresses from home, so you can contribute maximum to your business.
Right.
So in the profession, you have a lot of stresses. So when you have stresses from your profession as well as from the personal front, it becomes challenge for many people, and that's become a reason for many people's success or failures. I would say that she was very supportive and cooperative, and we did, and each time with the time I'm back at home, then we spent very happy times together, and it was all hands in hand, and the I did my best and she did her best, and then I would say that's something which took me to this successful journey.
Right. That's beautiful. So while you go to Singapore, establish new projects, and reach this height of success, was there a time where you were like, this is it, I've made it to the top, and you wanted to move on to something else? Or were you always looking out for the next thing and you continued in the cycle?
When I moved to Singapore, the original plan was to stay there for some longer time. So this then the company where I was working, it was owned by Total. Total is energy major. They're a Fortune 4 or 5 company and one of the largest oil company in the world. So Mobil, Shell, and Total. These are the few top companies of now. The Total is mainly energy major. They moved to solar energy also. The our company was not the core business for Total. Total was mainly energy major, and it was a non-core business for them. So no organization retained a non-core business for a long time.
Right.
However, the Agitech company formed in 1993 by merging three different large companies in the world that was taken over by, or the merging happened by that time ELF. So ELF was the owner, and then in 2000, ELF is taken over by Total. So then it initially became Total Fina ELF. Then it's named later to Total. It's a French headquartered company, and the Atotech headquarters was in Berlin always. Total decided to disinvest this non-core business after keeping it for 25 years, 93 to 2016. So then actually there's a changeover happened. They sold the company to private equity.
Right.
So then actually the objective of the company completely changes. So Singapore was running with a lot of losses due to different reasons, and my primary responsibility was make that to a profitable business, which I could do very successfully by implementing innovative ideas and like wherever possible the cost reduction and non-productive areas to be discontinued and improve the productive areas and also look for high margin products promotion. That things help me. And then I decided the company decided to cut down the size of the organization, because Singapore was a manufacturing facility when I moved there. Then being the cost of manufacturing was quite high, as Singapore is today for high-tech job. When we compare to other things, the cost of operations are very high. We decided to move the manufacturing from Singapore to Malaysia and Penang. There's a big manufacturing facility built over there, and then the manufacturing is moved from Singapore to Malaysia. And then my challenge was there to you need to optimize the size of the company,
Right.
which is a big challenge. And then I could do it keeping the management as well as the employees happy. And I accomplished my target in 2018. So by 18 July, I come back to India, taking the responsibilities in Atotech India.
Right. So after this move, you decide to start your own company and become an entrepreneur. How did you start thinking in this direction?
I was with the company for 25 years. There was a difference in culture. The culture make a very big difference. The culture of the organization. When the private equity company came in, they were saying that yes, there will be change in the culture of the organization. So somehow, I think, I was it's the as I said that the profession which I'm doing, that I do with a lot of I enjoy my job, enjoy my profession. I decided to do something which in my own way, start doing something on and follow the passion. So there I decided, okay, you have done 25, more than 30 years of job, and now you try to do something with like-minded people along with the start something and try to establish. So that's the time along with the people of the same thinking in my like in the same professional organization. So some of the people, most of the people, were some point of time we did work together. So all of them joined hands, and mainly the core team of 4 people decided to start our startup. There we in 2021, end of 2020, we decided to register the company and started our manufacturing in our puja did in April 2021. So and then we have done our first invoicing in May 2021.
Right.
So that there onwards, yeah, it was a bit challenging because of the COVID. Everybody thought that after the first and second COVID, there won't be any further, but the COVID never leave us, and it like it was keep coming with us, and after every 6 months or 8 months, that was that was a challenging one. And when the third COVID was not so bad, because by the time people become very familiar, and then they start not bothering too much about the COVID, and
Yeah.
the Omicron was not that severe, like the casualties used to happen with the first and second wave was quite high, whereas the third one was not that. It's much more milder than the earlier one. So then that we overcome that, then we move on. And today's the situations the it's interesting to face challenges. And today the other challenge also, which no one expected, was the challenge of supply chain is terribly bad because of Russia and Ukraine war.
Yeah.
So a lot of things used to come, because a lot of these materials come from overseas. Some of the chemicals are manufactured only in 1 or 2 countries in the world. So with that challenges, we are sailing through and doing our best, and I'm very satisfied, happy that we are doing quite good.
It's great to hear. So, Mr. Sanal, after all these years of experience in your industry, if you had a time machine and you could go back to any moment in your life and relive that moment, what moment would that be?
So I would say there are one definitely is study time.
Right.
Very happy. The school days are always very memorable days, and no tensions. And then definitely after my engagement, so so we were staying at 2 different places. It was a nice time we spent, and then even immediately after our marriage also, like we were staying at 2 different places. So I used to travel to south, and she used to travel half the way. I used to travel half the way. We stayed together for a few days, and yeah, study time. And then after we start life together. So I would say that that is still continuing, and keep enjoying.
Right.
So I would say that you go back after the school days, the second part of the life is it's happily moving on.
Thank you so much for your time. Your journey was truly inspirational and I got to learn a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank